Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Morning Meta. I am yours truly, Travis Spencer.
I'm Camilla Crawley.
Camilla, today is Thursday,
Yes, it
so
is.
we're going to be doing community conversations.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should pick up on the conversation that we've been having. But let's get started with the grounding, setting an intention, and things like that.
All right. So for our grounding, I know you have something for us today.
Mhm.
So what's that going to be?
Well, today our grounding practice is going to be just noticing the body. I love doing grounding in the body.
Me too.
So the invitation here is to bring your hands and just begin to rub your hands together, noticing how it feels. If there's any tension in the hands, the invitation is to just release that tension as much as you can. And just massage the hands and fingers and begin to notice your hands as they warm up, the palms of your hand as you're rubbing in a circular motion. And you can speed up if you like, slow down, and then invite you to bring your hands to your face. And just notice how it feels to touch your face, allowing yourself to relax with each exhale, noticing the warmth of your hands against your face. And when you've done 3 deep breaths, allow your eyes to open. All right.
That was nice. I
Mhm.
really like the end of just really landing on the hands on the face and just
Mhm.
sitting with that touch. That was
Yes,
nice.
yes.
All right. Our intention. It's time for that practice. Inviting everyone to set an intention for today. So, our intention is our mindfulness practice where we really choose to, decide what we're wanting for the day. This can be anything that you want for yourself. For this practice, we're going to give you about 5 to 10 seconds to choose what that intention is, whether it's something that you want to do, a way you want to feel or show up for yourself or others, something that you might have been carrying around with you for a really long time that you finally want to just concentrate and hone in on. Whatever it is, you can set that intention, and you can also use our sentence stem. My intention for today is, and you can finish the rest of that sentence. Go ahead, take the next 5 to 10 seconds and set that intention for today. All right. I'm always sending out this invitation to allow your intention to just unfold naturally. Do your best not to get caught up in it coming out perfectly or wanting to know just every step and piece that's going to be involved in making it happen. Do your best to release that and just allow the intention to unfold and happen naturally throughout the day.
Mm.
Well, time for that centering thought.
All right. Now, centering thought.
Mhm.
All right, good people. Our centering thought for today is from Desmond Tutu. My humanity is bound up in yours, for we can only be human together. My humanity is bound up in yours, for we can only be human together. Reminds me of Ubuntu.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
Hmm.
All right.
So for our conversation. And even, thinking about that quote about, my humanity is bound up in the humanity of others really speaks to connection.
Hmm.
And so I think about that in the sense of healing.
Hmm.
If I'm on a healing journey, if I am in that process, which I don't think ever really ends, but still if you're on that path and you're taking those steps, I think that that also is bound up in everyone else
Hmm.
too, because when you are on that path and you are healing, I think that it also impacts others around you.
Hmm.
It can connect to the healing of others around you,
Hmm.
as well as those who have come before you and those who will come after you.
Mm. Yeah, I love the way that you've kind of set us up for this conversation. Um, Healing, and this is something Bell Hooks talk about. Healing isn't done in isolation. It's done. It is a communal process. So we need to be able to reflect back to those who are healing, and our community needs to reflect back to us as we heal to support that healing process. So how do you think we should do this conversation? I love the idea of reminding the audience, reminding you guys of what we talked about last week, which was the flow acronym,
Mm-hmm.
and then what if we talk about the elements of healing moving forward from there? What do you
Okay.
think? All right. So
Mhm.
me?
Mhm.
No.
You say you wanted to talk about flow
Yes.
first? Okay.
All right, good people. So I want to remind you guys what we talked about last week in the FLOW acronym and what it stands for. So I'll do that really brief so we can step into those elements of healing. So the FLOW acronym is really about stepping into your life, living mindfully within the flow of your life. And there's four elements that we talk about that's a part of the flow. And flow is the acronym itself. The F in flow stands for follow your intuition. That's your wise mind, that's your intuitive spirit, your gut, and there's a trusting that goes with that. Letting go of outcomes, meaning that you are moving in a way that is responsive and not trying to control or manipulate outcomes. You are doing what is best for you and what you feel is best for others, and you're doing the best that you can in any given moment, understanding that there's going to be learnings in all of it. So outcomes are not going to be completely up to you, and that's okay. The O is owning your experience, meaning that however you are showing up in any experience, own it. That's okay. If there's a learning lesson there, own that learning as well. The idea is really about being authentic. Owning your experience allows you to be authentic. Um, I love this idea of the 2 year old, right? 2 year olds are authentic. If they're upset at you, they're crying. If they want their way about something, they're letting you know about it, right? They're owning their experience. So the invitation is to go back to that with the wisdom of life. So own your experience, but come at it from a place of wisdom and understanding and welcoming growth edges, right? So being able to welcome um, any elements of growth that shows up. I call myself a recovering perfectionist. And what I mean by that is that I used to look for things to always be perfect or try to make them perfect. But what I understand now is that things don't need to be perfect. The opportunities that come from whatever you're doing is what supports you growing and supports that growth edge that we're talking about. So don't look for perfection, look for opportunities. Sometimes those opportunities to support your growth.
Yeah. And I think that all connects into healing. So I'm glad you went over that flow acronym first. let's start with healing in terms of the definition that I am uses, which is a return to balance,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think that also I want to throw in something else, and I want to throw in this word alignment. So when we think about healing, I like to just put out there to the community, think about a time, or maybe it might be more than one time, but at least one time where you felt out of balance or out of alignment for whatever reasons. Just kind of reflect on that. And when we come back into balance or come back into alignment,
Mm-hmm.
think about that time and what that felt like or what that might have looked like. And that's our base when we're talking about healing. So it's not always that healing is something that is so such a deep cut. You know,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes healing is about the everyday things where we may be out of alignment and out of balance.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to kind of just lay that groundwork too.
Yes, yes.
So when we talk about getting on that path to healing, I want to share something that I've learned from Thich Nhat Hanh, who is an ancestor now, but is just one of the, I think, wisest teachers of this practice, shared that the pre conditions for healing. So these preconditions, these things that are so supportive and helpful to put in, to have in place before you even take that step. These are the three things that Thich Nhat Hanh shares. And the first thing is stopping.
Mm-hmm.
The second precondition is calming. And the third is resting.
Mm-hmm.
So before you dive off into the deep end of the pool, Thich Nhat Hanh says, let's see if we can get these three things going first: stopping, calming, and resting. And why would that be? Let's think about when we're not in those places, right? So when we are constantly busy, constantly on the go, when that constant busyness is causing us always to be, um, in a hyper energy space, what might be happening? We might not also be getting rest. So when the combination of all of those things are going on, then that lessens our ability to be even aware that we need healing, right? Because we're so focused on, okay, I got to go, I got to get this done. I'm ramped up all the time. I'm not resting, so I'm not thinking clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're less likely to be able to tune in and really pay attention to our thoughts, our emotions, and physically what's going on with us.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first step. Slow down, slow down. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I think
Absolutely.
that's really, really important. And I know it might seem like something impossible to do in terms of people feeling like, well, I got to live life, I got to take care of things. But I'm telling you, if you slow down, put those preconditions in place, that slow, and I'm going to use slowing down and stopping kind of interchangeably. So let's say slowing down and stopping,
Mm-hmm.
calming, bringing things down, calming, and resting. Doing those things will allow you to have the clarity to get
Mm-hmm.
all the stuff you want to get done. All the things that we're so busy around, all the things we're worrying
Mm-hmm.
about, thinking about, that we feel like we have to do. When you slow down and calm and rest, those things will naturally still get done.
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, they'll get done in a way where you are not harming your health.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about healing, before we even get to really digging into that, I really want to share with people to begin to, in small ways, slow down. The practices that we're doing throughout the week can help support you in the calming,
Mm-hmm.
and more than anything, resting, so that you can be clear, so that you can be aware of what's really going on with you in terms of your thoughts, your emotions, your spirit, and your physical body.
Mm-hmm.
So I hand it over to you.
No, I think that what you just shared is at the basic foundational components of the healing. These things are very necessary, just like you said. These preconditions to healing. What's interesting, always want to share this with you guys. You're watching this and you're listening. I can't make this happen for you. I can share these things with you and invite you to try it on. So give yourself 30 days, 30 days of doing morning metta every day, setting those intentions, doing these practices, and also these elements of healing that we've shared. Camilla shared with you around the stop. I think of an acronym that goes with that, the STOP acronym that we use sometimes. And the S in STOP stands for stop. The T stands for take a breath, or I like to say take 3 breaths. That gives you really a chance to notice the breath and relax. The O is observe, and that's observe your internal self and then observe the environment around you. What is coming up for you? Can you feel it? Can you name it? And then proceed. Because once you can name it, you can tame it. You've heard that quote, right? So these are the things when you begin looking at, you're on a healing journey. And I also this is the last thing I want to say. We often create habits that aren't helpful to us. So if something has occurred in your life and you've started a habit, maybe the habit is jumping to conclusions when you feel a certain way. Say you're feeling sad about something. So you find that now that you're sad, you don't have energy to place on anything else, right? The energy of slowing down, you don't want to do that. You just want to avoid everything, right? That's habit energy that we begin to cultivate and reinforce. This process that Camilla and I are sharing with you will support you in noticing that habit energy as it arises and beginning to decrease that habit energy, eventually stopping. Then you can step into the flow that we're talking about, because that habit energy is often what is inhibiting that flow, right? So we want to invite you to just sit with what we're saying and also to try on what we're saying as well. Sit with it, try it on, and we want to hear from you, to put that in the comments. Let us know, is this something that you are open to trying? 30 days, just 30 days of doing these practices, stopping, resting. What can you share with them the preconditions?
Sure. So those preconditions, again, the first one is stopping or pausing, if you prefer that term pausing, but stopping or pausing. The second precondition is calming. And the third precondition is resting.
All right. I like that.
So I know that there's more elements of healing. You want to save those for our next conversation, or you want to get, okay. So for now, you have that FLOW acronym. Keep that in mind. But we're starting with that foundational piece of these preconditions. And so when it comes to this practice, that call to action is try it on for 30 days. And remember, start small. We don't have to try to change everything overnight. So if you're stopping or pausing something, then just take something that you do already every day. And before you do that thing, pause. And that could be even speaking. So sometimes maybe having conversations and people ask questions. Before you respond to that question, just take a few seconds to stop and pause. Maybe you're going to take a nice breath to yourself and then respond to that question. Same thing around the house. I don't know how many people still wash dishes. It seems like most people have dishwashers, but if you wash dishes, that could be a time where you slow down, right? Slow down doing that, slowing down folding your laundry, slowing down doing something else. And then the calming, well, you already got that because you're with us each and every day with Morning Metta. So you have your calming practices. And then finally, resting. Remembering that resting is not just getting in the bed and putting the covers over you. Resting is taking a few seconds to breathe, to massage your body, to give it a little bit of movement, right? So all of these things, we have so many options. So
Yes,
I'm
yes.
excited about that. Possibilities are endless. So
Yeah.
that's all I have for my side of things. Anything
Yeah.
before we wrap up?
No, I think for me, I'm looking forward to this with you all, going through this journey of healing and transformation. Um, we're going to continue talking about these fundamental things. We may take different angles, so that you can see how it applies to your life, and to the lives of those who you love and those who you work with. Um, Again, I want to invite you, if there are any questions that are coming up regarding what we're talking about, the elements of healing, the flow, any of these things, please reach out in the comments. Just share what your question is. Camilla and I will read the comments and respond as timely as we can.
Yes, yes, yes. Definitely. We're looking forward to any comments or questions that you all have. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure that you are sharing this channel with anyone that you think could benefit. And that could be someone in your family, friends, just in general, maybe in conversation with someone, something sticks out to you and you can share this channel with them as well. I like that conversation.
Me too.
Good. All right, everyone. So continue to join us the rest of this week and take it into next week as well, because we're going to be here starting our day grounded, intentional, and connected. Ashe.